just waiting to go online, Doug.
Okay.
Big goodness.
Is Mike coming tonight, or?
Mike is not. Okay, so today's November 3rd, the opening Bolton's Economic Development Committee meeting. Okay, so first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes, which we forwarded around. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
You wanna,
Make a motion to approve the minutes from...
Second.
okay.
Aye.
Okay. Just gonna sign this.
All right, there you go.
Okay, and today is November 3rd, 14th. Okay, so minutes have been approved. That's great. Okay, so the second item on the agenda was going to be Karen Regan from Bolton Locos, which she was feeling ill. But do you want to fill us in
Sure.
on...
Yeah, so like the last few meetings, I was talking about ways of getting businesses involved in the community, and just trying to tie businesses more closely to Bolton, so that Bolton residents feel a connection to them and would go to those businesses, opt over them over somebody outside of Bolton or the area. So, I know I mentioned like the 4th of July parade, get business involved in that, if there was to be one, or some type of event in September, if we could get, like, I know there's the big Bolton Fair, but if we could have a smaller community type event where businesses can come in and maybe they sponsor some type of band, there's events for kids and et cetera like that. But we don't really have the manpower for this, so, and Parks and Recs actually was having a problem with it too, hence no 4th of July parade. But Karen Regan left Parks and Rec, and now she's kind of starting sort of a community group called Bolton Locos, L-O-C-O-S, Bolton Local.
Bolton Crazies?
I don't think I'm
Why one would
confused by
start
that.
that?
Yeah. So I think it's very small right now, but she had a major part in planning the Halloween parade that just happened. And I don't know if you saw the post that I shared on the EDC's Facebook page, but she had businesses very involved.
Yeah, it was very good.
And I want my kids going around, and the businesses were handing out like the candy and some type of flyer, or some people had like a little, like one of the real estate agents had like a little thing stapled to a candy bar and stuff. So it was just a good way of businesses get involved in the community. So I just wanted her to come in and talk about other ways we could do that.
Great, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And if Bolton Local discusses us at their meeting, that would be a great way of just continuing the synergy. So next time...
Well, so Bolton Locos, they don't have like, the good thing about it is they're not a town.
Yes.
They're not subject to quorums and stuff, and they can just do good stuff. So it'd be good to use them when we can.
Do they have a website yet, or?
She has a Facebook page and she's working on a website. Yeah. And then she was posting a lot on it during the events because it was pouring out for it.
Yeah.
And actually, considering that it was pouring out, I should have asked the 3-year-old if he still wants to go to the parade and trick or treat, because he did. So we went, but actually there were like a couple hundred people there.
I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that there was during that still a lot of people. But so it went pretty well, and it'd just be good to get. I know like for the 275th. Murphy Insurance donated the money for that band, but I just kind of envision like if we could ever get the town common, like if there was some type of event with some band and a more of a smaller community type event with businesses.
Yeah, it's great.
So I think in the future getting something like that. The other interesting that she said, we'll get into the wreath stuff, is I guess the Parks and Rec tried to do it a few years ago, but they couldn't get past all the red tape.
Thank you, Lisa.
And so when I told her about what we're doing, she's like, "Oh, yeah, let me tell you about that." She's like, you're not going to get all the paperwork, and just like we couldn't believe how much paperwork there was, and I was like, "Oh, it's done."
Yeah.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity for town.
And she was she was very excited about that. So I mean, people had kicked the idea around, I guess, but just never followed through. So it kind of.
You just have to be diligent and have lots of time.
Yeah.
Right, Lisa?
Yeah, but she's also starting her own company, I think, too.
She's very careful.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
So I think we should continue on just trying
Yeah.
to bring more groups in, and we just keep saying the synergy, because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, let's talk about the wreath status. So we got it approved at the Board of Selectmen a year ago. We went back, and actually, it was the Verizon piece of it that held it up. We got the National Grid approval last year and the Verizon approval this year. So Bolton is approved to attach anything except communication devices onto the poles. So we're good.
Can't start our own network, unfortunately.
Okay, right. Okay, so here we go. Lisa has a copy of the flyer that she's going to circulate. The goal is to get businesses to support the wreaths. Bruce is going to make the order for the wreaths
And the bows.
and the bows.
56 of them? Is that what-
We actually cut it down to 50. We had some, when we walked Main Street, we had gone all the way from Harvard Road up to 495. And that might not be the best use of the wreaths. At the minimum, we would hope to do from 626 Main Street to the library. And if we just do that, that would be 25, 7, 32, 38. So let's just call it 40
That's what we came up with last year too.
would be that.
I think that would be great.
And then, so everything's going to be dependent upon how much money we bring in.
What if we get like enough to do like 80?
If we do 80, then,
I thought we only had 56 poles though.
Oh no, we only have 56 right here. We actually have like 100
so if we go,
total.
If you're going from like Stowe all the way to Lancaster kind of thing.
so my view is, wouldn't it be great to go on the eastbound side of 495 and at least go
To the country cover.
to the country cover, if not to 85? And then, so I think the goal is, and we'll have to work out the timing of this, but the goal will be to place the order for the wreaths. And if they have a small turnaround time, we'll just maybe hold out to, you said to November 15th to
Yeah.
place the order.
Right.
So that gives us a little bit of leeway and see in the next 2 weeks, what does it feel like the demand is going to be. And then we will get the businesses to pay $30 to sponsor the wreath. Their name.
So why did we decide on 30?
Because if you go through the spreadsheet, it looks like that would be a nice buffer to set up an account to help for next year for the wreaths, in case we want to do a bracket on the poles, in case we want to enhance this project. Maybe we go to artificial wreaths next year. It's probably easier to do the live wreaths. They're pretty inexpensive from a cost standpoint, so it kind of gets us rolling. It's pretty reasonable. I mean, we could pick $25. You know, maybe that's from a committee standpoint. We had mentioned 30. 25 would be fine as well.
But there's also stuff that's unforeseen. You never know, like
Right.
that we might need a little extra money for. Like we might need to, you know,
Fixed, maybe one falls down, you need to fix
or whatever.
it,
Yeah, I don't know, or maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, just to have that just in case.
I think it's.
I don't think it's going to be a lot extra.
And especially if we go with the plastic ties, and they have to be 48 inches.
Mhm.
Do we know
Did you
where
know
we're
that?
getting those?
Yeah, I actually met the guy that owns the factory that makes them at a meeting last week,
Yeah,
and he
that's
told me to
great.
just come up and get them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so that's great. And
A random.
Well, I guess, if we determine, that we're overdoing it this year, we can lower it next year.
yeah, I mean, and so, well, let's talk about that. I mean, we can easily do 20, if we do 25, we will have at least a $15 buffer per wreath.
I was actually shocked at the prices seem so low.
Yeah, that's not.
Because when I go, like,
It's
buy a
wholesale.
wreath,
It's wholesale.
when I go buy a wreath, it's like, what, $20, $30
But then
for,
we have the option too, if we want to go bigger, like,
Okay, however,
whatever.
I met with Don Lowe and Linda Day.
yeah.
We went out after Mike and I had already gone and counted, and Lisa counted the year before, Don Lowe and Linda Day and I walked around, and we actually went up to the wreaths. You really can't get much bigger than 12 or 14 inches.
As you were saying that, afterwards too, when I was going for the larger ones, because the pole's only, so.
That's the issue. So
Yeah.
imagine that being the pole.
Yeah, and it's just too.
If it's
too
26
much.
inches, it's going to be huge.
It might be flopping.
Right, and then,
What do you think, because the wind would blow it?
well, I think the way that Lisa has proposed, and I'm going to step up to this is actually a good view. Imagine this being 117 going down this
Yeah.
way. We would mount the pole, if you were going westbound, we would mount the wreath over on this side, hook the tie on the top, and then go around the top, and do the same thing with the bottom, just like they did in Charlestown.
But that's the 12 inch, and you were saying that we might want to go with the 14 inch. That was the only
14 would be the biggest. I mean,
Yeah, because even that one, I would have to put it over my shoulder, and
Yeah,
Is
Do you know what size that is?
that's the 12.
that's 12.
Is it
But
the
that's a small
inside or
pole,
is it
too.
the outside diameter?
Okay, I'm talking outside,
That's the last
outside dimension
Okay.
for us. When we went up, the 12 went like this,
Okay.
and then we would hang it 6 feet up, or
Yeah,
6.5 feet
Step
up,
ladder or something.
and use a step ladder. We would meet at Bruce's that morning,
Yeah.
whether it would be
Coffee and muffins?
coffee and muffins, load the wreaths on a pickup truck, and, and have a step stool, and make it a
Go to
fun,
teams,
yeah.
like 3 different teams,
That's a good
say.
idea.
And then
Yeah,
just
and-
drop the poles,
So we're not
drop
getting-
them all along, have someone in a truck drop them off, just chuck them off the side.
When we
DPW
reviewed
doesn't
it,
want to get involved, or?
I mean, Mike has to approve this,
Yeah.
but Don and Linda felt pretty comfortable that this was an okay thing to do, from a liability standpoint, especially that we weren't trying to go extremely high on the pole.
Mhm.
We're just trying to go here. Linda suggested we could do overkill, and somebody could wear an orange vest if the town felt, you really want to add protection to people. But this also might be really fun. People could see us doing it and get very
Yeah.
excited. Don was actually he felt very good. In Clinton, what they ended up doing, they did extremely high, and they had huge brackets and had to use a bucket truck. So it
And we
added
could do that if we had a bucket truck, because they do have some that are already up there, so.
very limited, and those are only for
It would be very hard to be up there and put the ties on them.
that's right, and those are only for the American flags.
Right.
So it's only I mean, I didn't count them, but I imagine, was it 15, maybe 20? And the interesting thing is that if you look at the spreadsheet, all the poles aren't on the same side of the road, right? So it
So
depends.
I was gonna ask that, so you said westbound, you're gonna face them west, so are there equal
Are
number
you
of
are you
poles?
gonna
on
face
each
them
side?
in, like this?
Okay,
These
yes,
ones are facing the driving, like this.
that's right, we're gonna face the
But
driveway.
it's different there because people are walking, so that's why they did it that way. Whereas nobody really walks on 117, so we could actually point them towards the road.
Don and Linda's suggestion was to go towards the oncoming traffic.
Okay, that's what these are.
So if you were eastbound, so if you look at Library to Wattapotic, there's really only one on the library side. And then it totally, and then the old antique store to Town Hall, okay, yes. So I'm going the opposite way. So Harvard Road to the library, library to Wattapotic. Library to Wattapotic. Okay, and then the old antique store to Town Hall. Now, there's a lot of them. There's only 2 eastbound and 16 westbounds on that side. And then it switches. When you go to the Town Hall to 626 Main Street, it totally switches. Then they go on the eastbound side, none on the west. And then Bolton Office Park to 626 Main Street, all east, no west. So, I think we have to try, to try it. They They weren't really for facing it to 117, but I view it, when we get there, we're gonna have to make a strategic decision. I think we're gonna go out, hang the wreaths, and make the decision that day, whether we want to keep it facing, basically parallel to 117, or basically perpendicular, depending upon what side you're driving.
I think it would be more uniform if it was parallel, just because of what you say, in some areas there's some of this, and
Well, we know you definitely cannot make them perpendicular. Okay, so let's do a parallel, or let's say we're gonna do a parallel, we'll put it up. Worst comes to worst, we could always switch it. Their concern was that everybody was only driving, and that if you put it parallel to 117, people who were driving couldn't see them.
That's true. I mean, the
People-
standard way is to face them to the road,
Right.
Yeah.
although
unless it's like in a park or
during busy
something.
times 117, people are stopped anyway, so they'll be able to look around.
Okay, the deal that
I don't know. Yeah, just try.
Okay, so what I worked with, now I'm contradicting myself, but when I met with Don, we decided to do it the way of incoming traffic, whether it was westbound or eastbound. So we should probably stick with that. And worst comes to worst, if it looks terrible, you switch it,
Yeah,
because they're on ties. We're not hooked to a permanent metal fixture. So Lisa is going to forward, do you just want to show everybody?
I was just working on the flyer. I don't have any decorations on it yet, but just getting everybody's information on there, and I was hoping that maybe they would print this in paper.
Which we're going to submit to the
Do like a
Bolton.
quarter of a page, and people could just cut it out and
Mhm.
put their name on it and mail it in.
we can email it out and stuff too, and put it on the Facebook
Oh yeah, we
page.
can email it to
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
You know, if we find that donations are low, we can like phone people.
Yeah.
Like, we all know enough people in
Yeah.
town that we can phone
Are we
people.
opening it up to families too? It's for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's for everyone.
I mean, ideally.
If my computer's on TV.
Well,
Okay, great, actually, that's great. Teresa, if you want to make that, yeah, okay. So actually, let's give Teresa, or wherever the camera is, a chance to get a head-on view. Not sure where the camera
I
is.
actually got it pretty good there, yeah.
Okay. And we're going to say, adopt a poll.
Yeah, that's right, we're gonna name it Adopt a Pool.
Right, so this holiday season, help us decorate Main Street, Bolton. The Bolton EDC plans to decorate 50, actually, take out 50, to decorate poles or
About
one
poles,
set, yeah.
maybe?
did we want to start it at just businesses, because it was we kind of intended it for something from businesses to the community?
Okay, so my view is, if we get businesses to come, that's great. I think we just open it up, because the way donations are, you just never know, Eric.
Yeah.
You know, even if, let's put it this way, if all the businesses who participated in the 275th participate, that's 30,
Right,
and we want to do 50, so we're 20 short. So,
yeah,
let's see what we get.
Yeah, because some people just might wanna be part of it, you
Mhm.
know? For whatever reason, just because.
Don't you agree?
yeah, but I think maybe we need to give businesses a head start.
Well, it would be
Somehow.
great if each member calls some businesses.
Yeah.
We each take a handful
Yeah,
of businesses,
yeah, we can
And-
divide it up somehow.
yeah, and just commit to bringing, well, at least 5 to the table.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
We're
some
sure
businesses
easy.
might just be like, here's $500, you know what I mean?
yeah, well,
Some
we don't really,
businesses
yeah,
are
we
very
don't really,
generous.
we don't really need that, though.
Yeah.
We're trying to get as many businesses involved as possible.
And so this isn't a profit-making
Yeah.
endeavor. We're
Yeah.
just trying to decorate Bolton, is
Yeah.
what we're, and trying to get some advertising out for businesses. If private citizens want to donate, that's great too.
Yeah,
You know, if the Demmer family, the Nayland family, the Miller
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, and you never know, maybe neighborhoods will
Yeah.
like it and they'll
Yeah.
wanna do it
Yeah.
next year
Yeah.
or something, you know?
I just think the intent was,
The intent is definitely businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and business goodwill to decorate the
Exactly.
community.
because I guarantee you that it would be drowned out by families,
Mhm.
you know? I'm sure everybody would want to do it.
But if we were just doing businesses, then we just need to mail them to businesses. You know, you wouldn't be advertising them in the paper. You wouldn't be advertising them on Facebook. We would just be doing a specific calling to businesses. And I don't think we're prepared to do that unless we just individually call businesses.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had that list that I kind of divided out that, you know, well,
As I put it on the logo thing, you know, I ended up myself,
yeah.
you know, getting 15 logos, but that was calling everybody.
Yeah, so, you know, I could send out a list that's divided up, you know?
Well, I
To
mean,
break it up.
if you want to do that,
Yeah.
then we should do that and
Yeah.
call, but I
Just-
mean,
I'm just saying, give a head start, and then fill in the gaps with families.
if everybody on the committee wants to commit to calling, that's great.
Yeah,
But I,
We'd need
you
a
know,
deadline for
yeah.
when we would have to go over to families.
When do we need the money for? Yeah,
it really depends upon the timing. I think everyone's pretty flexible. You know, I think even if we don't, I'm going to say December, you know, for the actual paying of the vendor. Is that true?
so say, you're saying December 1st? So let's say like, maybe, could we say like November 15th for businesses, and then after that, fill in the gaps? I don't know. I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
Want to get it going.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody wants to commit
just give
to
it a week or two.
calling the businesses, that's great. I just can't be responsible
Yeah.
for getting
Well,
all.
it says businesses on the flyer, so if with the flyer out there, it looks like it's businesses, people might ask us, can we donate?
Yeah, yeah.
And then we could just say, sure, if you want.
I mean, I don't
We
want
don't
to
have
turn.
to push it out to people.
I agree, I don't want to
Right.
come up short also, but I also want to make sure the businesses can be represented.
Okay,
We talked
so,
about that Littleton, the
Yeah.
ones they had in Littleton, there were a lot of families.
Yeah, I know there were a lot of families.
okay, so let's get the flyer done.
Yeah.
You give us the list,
Yeah.
and at least in the next week, you know.
Can I post it like tomorrow, though?
I think we should, I think
Get it
we should
going, yeah.
post it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, get it going,
The
definitely.
goal was first
You know
of
what?
November.
It would be a very nice problem to have, that we have too many people willing
no, I
to
agree.
donate.
I'll
the
send it to the
flyer.
paper.
Yeah,
I can send it to, I can, you know, I can copy you
Yeah.
and.
I mean, the more we advertise about it, the more,
I'm sure the Bolton Independent will be more than willing to post it. They definitely have a heads up that this is coming.
Are we going
They
to
did
be
the
posting
website.
it more than one paper? Or in more than one edition?
You can send it off to the Clinton item.
I
Oh,
think.
yeah, the Clinton item, okay.
Are you saying so?
Or I
think
just
just
like
one
multiple
edition.
weekends,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe she might have an issue with that.
Yeah.
So maybe we target her more for the following week. Because people would forget right now, so maybe
Right.
target the Bolton Independent, not for this coming Friday, but for the following.
And then what about the chamber? Can I send it to them too? 'Cause
Absolutely.
They have Bolton
Melissa?
residents that own businesses in the chamber.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's
So
like
let's just
somebody's
get the
a web
flyer out.
business, like Ladybugs, yeah.
After you
Right.
do those edits, just forward it to the group, so just that we can approve it.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, basically it will look the same. I'll just put some decorations on it and I'll change it to, I think, adopt a poll, right?
That's great. Okay, so this was very good publicity for the Economic Development Committee and the Bolton Independent. Eric and I went to Board of Selectmen, actually, I'm skipping ahead. But we talked about where to spend the $1,000. So what's your proposal?
What are we talking about now?
Well, I wanted to give us our own plug, and then I realized that really is our last bullet item.
Okay.
But how do we spend the $1,000? We did mention at the Board of Selectmen meeting that we were gonna spend our budget,
Let's do a brochure.
and we just got a format from Linda Day asking us about next year for our budget. And it'll be very hard to justify spending more money if we haven't even spent the $1,000 this year.
Yeah,
And I don't wanna.
you don't want to spend it just to spend it.
Just to spend it, right,
It's okay to leave some on the table,
right.
but I think the main bulk should be the brochure. I don't know if we could get any quotes on printing,
Yeah, we can get the
like
brochure.
a trifold glossy
Yeah.
type
Couple
thing.
$100 for like a few thousand.
Okay, and then maybe are you going to be able to do all the graphics
Yeah.
yourself, or do we have to hire somebody?
No, I'll do it.
Eric, if you could take a draft of what you think the brochure should look like.
All right,
that
I'm
would
not
be
an
helpful.
artist though.
I'm not at the content, the
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
So exactly what you imagine the brochure actually looking like.
This was like when that a client just did, but it's kind of similar colors to what we would have.
Yeah, so I kind of envision, I don't know if people like this or not, is you open it up in this sort of like a map of Bolton, you know, with the main streets, and then around, you know, and you could have either numbers or maybe it'll be too much for logos, but, you know, restaurants, international, whatever, you know, touristy type things, even if you want trails, I don't know. But then like along the sides, you know, how they have listed like number 1 is this, number 2 is that type
Well, we could
thing.
divide Bolton up into sections,
Yeah,
and then like we could have like East Bolton, North Bolton,
Yeah.
like 4,
yeah.
and then we could have which part of Bolton they're in.
Just I know when you go to like, I don't want to say we're not a
West.
touristy town, although we kind of are during apple season. But like when you come, somebody who hasn't been here, it's kind of like, makes it seem like more of, I don't know if you want to say official, but like you're catering towards that, you know.
Well, why don't you draft out, even if it's just on a piece of paper,
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't have to be a very formal,
yeah, I'll do
formal
it, yeah.
draft.
Yeah, again, Lisa has a much better eye for that than I do, so,
But I'm talking about more content.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, so our other discussion would be our new member discussion.
The budget, one more thing, were we gonna buy some advertising?
We need a proposal. How much do you want to spend?
Well, I thought for this year we were gonna do some Facebook advertising to try to grow our Facebook page.
Okay, so what you need to do is just come up with how much it would be.
Well, how much do we have?
We have $1,000.
Minus the brochures.
So let's say minus 300 or 400 or whatever. it's gonna be.
Okay, so maybe we could just do it for a couple months.
Mhm.
So what, can we, like, I don't know how the boost works, but can you, so people in Stowe, Harvard, Lancaster, Clinton, can you, like, people who have those addresses, they would get kind of a, hey, EDC, they would
Yeah,
get pumped to
I
them?
think we would get a really high like rate because we're a local interest group.
Yeah.
So I think like some clients, you know, you might spend $100 a month, they get 5 people, and some get 500.
Yeah.
So I think we would be like on the higher end of maybe getting 100 or 200 a month.
So just talking about the Facebook page, we're at 165 likes right now, and for every day kind of post, it's only like 30, 40, but when we put stuff that regards the town, like I put that thing about the town common, we got over 800 views of it, which I mean, it got a couple of shares, but I mean, I was pretty surprised by that. And then I put another post, which I think I would like to do this, I put like a little written up thing saying congrats to Clinton Savings
That
Bank.
was great.
And then like it'd be nice to say, hey, they're starting construction this week or something like that, kind of to get people excited about it. But that was like, I think 150 views too, so, I mean, we're starting to get, you know, just with the number we have, so if we could get it boosted to Clinton and Harvard and stuff, I mean.
I mean, the whole goal is to create excitement about Bolton, to
Right.
make businesses want to come here.
Right.
Especially,
Yeah,
you know,
Exactly.
especially once we get the list again.
yeah.
Skinner,
Yeah.
you know, trying to get some,
Well, I mean, so when you guys first started, before I was in the EDC, I know that you guys were saying that, you know, businesses just thought Bolton was a very unfriendly place. So to get that feeling of,
that's right.
well, look, you know, you have, I'm not saying this Facebook page, there's a community of businesses here, and the town, the people in town and surrounding towns support them. So any way that we can build that up, and I think the Destination Bolton and the website and everything.
To
does
create that excitement.
Yeah,
And especially keeping up to date with the things that are going on.
development, yeah.
Town Common, Frank Patterson,
Yeah,
26 May.
yeah.
Clinton Savings Bank, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure Dr. David is going to have empty space there with Clinton Savings Bank.
Right.
She's going to want some
Well, even if
drive.
we could, yeah, like even say, hey, you know, Clinton Savings Bank just left this 1,400 square feet available.
Do you know anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the more likes and views of that we can get, the better.
Right, so I definitely get calls, even from just people
Yeah, same way, yeah.
that know me from like a different town. Oh, we're thinking, you know, we want to lease space. Who leases that building? And you think it's funny that they're asking you, but they have no one else, or they don't know we have a town planner or a town administrator. They just talk to anybody. So actually, that is a really good idea, just to always have our menu of stuff open and to refer back to the Facebook page is a great
Right.
idea. Okay, so just put together how much you need to spend, and then we have to vote on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, maybe we want to spend it around the time that we're doing the wreaths and stuff like that too, because we'll have something to promote. It's better to do it and grow it when you have something to promote. If it's winter and we're not doing anything, it's harder to grow it even with promotions.
yeah, we definitely have down months, whereas like,
Yeah.
every now and then I look and I'm like, wow, we haven't
So if
posted in like
something's
4
going, right,
weeks.
so if something's going on, but that's also the nature of the blog. If we were blogging, we would have content going out. So whenever we know, whenever we can update people as to what's going on, because people don't know. People might only glance at the first page of the Independent and not read what's going on to the planning board or.
Does that other guy still have his blog? Because that always used to write stuff.
What guy?
What?
You wouldn't know. Do you remember that guy that he had his own blog? He always wrote in it. Like, oh, you probably weren't around then. Do you remember?
I'm thinking,
Roland, was his name Roland?
Oh, Roland, yeah,
Oh,
but he was more for the
Roland
town, he was
Orchard.
for the town common, his blog.
well, he was not for he was for the initiative
Yeah.
for the town of Bolton to buy the Smith property.
Yeah, so that was kind of what he was
So is he
focused
still
on.
involved in stuff around here, or?
I haven't really
I was wondering,
heard
maybe we
much.
could get him to blog for us.
No.
Or is that, no?
I don't know.
I don't.
But like, not politically, just
I'm not sure,
about.
I'm not sure necessarily, that might be a focus of economic development.
Yeah, I don't think he was really interested in economic development, I
Okay.
think he was kind of interested in the opposite.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you know
so
what,
I
you know what, I'm not here to bash anybody.
Yeah,
It's just that I think we should find somebody that's particularly interested in economic development.
well, I mean, I always said if any one of us wants, so I found, like, you know, like when I wrote that Futini's article, or any original content that I put
Yeah.
on there, even if it's just like a paragraph, gets so many more views
Mhm.
and likes and shares than just sharing, like, you know, another story from a, you know, or just any original content we have gets so many views. So anytime you want, if anybody, if you go to the liquor store and you have a good experience and you want to write a little blog about it, anything like, you
Should
know,
have good content.
any original
When you say
content.
blog, okay, I'm a little bit behind here. When you say blog, do you mean just going on to Facebook and like posting a comment? Or
No, we
do you
have a blog
literally
on
have
our
a blog
website.
where, and anyone can,
No, not anyone, we manage it.
okay.
So basically, the way that a lot of companies are marketing themselves these days are usually what he's talking about, original content, content management. And they're putting that on their website, and then they're sharing it on social, and then, you know, that's sort of how you get people, like, and then back to your website. So it's sort of a whole little scheme.
So
to get-
right now, who has access to the blogging? Like
We
you and
do,
just the
right.
group?
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes on like a more open platform, people might have like comments and sharing and stuff like that. But sort of on a political platform, you probably don't want that, because someone could go in there and be like,
Oh, that's
you
true.
know, you just don't, that, we don't want, that's not what it's for. It's really, it's not for two-way, so.
We don't want business in
Right,
town.
right.
Yeah, we just, I mean, we've already done we've already been through that whole thing, so.
So you write a little story on the blog,
Yeah.
and then you could share that from the Facebook site, and it drives, like you said, it drives it
Yeah.
back to the blog, and
What would be interesting from a town planner standpoint is if you have any insight
Yeah,
to
you could-
things that are.
That's what I was just thinking, that could be my role then, is just making sure that you guys get
Yeah.
the information as quickly as possible.
you know,
Yeah.
I actually, Jenny, she started a
Started to
blog, but she didn't do much with it.
And she didn't put it on our website, she had it on the
Yeah.
town website.
Yeah,
Well,
she
she
didn't
started
do,
her own blog.
but she didn't do much with it. But she started it and did a couple of posts, but,
What if like Erica did a post like a month or something?
well, I even thought, like,
Okay.
just, you know, even through the EDC, you know, if she doesn't necessarily do it, you know, I thought, you know, just like a business development, if she wants to do it, fine either way, you know, however it gets done.
But, I mean, so one of the feedback that we got at the Board of Selectmen meeting
Yeah,
was that if there was an issue, that we should be able to champion it coming forward.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that we're going to champion every issue that comes forward, but maybe if we, you know, if we do know about things coming down the pike, we as a committee can take a stance whether, yes, we agree with that business coming through, or no, we really don't think that's good for business, or,
Yeah.
you know, and
Well,
take a more active role.
yeah, Stan Wysocki said that, he asked us why we don't take a more active role, and we're like, you know, I kind of said it in the article, I was like, I mean, besides me and the planning board, and I guess Erica, I mean, I don't think we're really as involved as, say, Chris was with Paragon.
Okay, so my point, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
My point that night was we tried to be interactive, we tried to be advisory when we first started out, and this is a good thing for you to hear. And we got hammered on that.
Yeah.
So, our role ever since that very contentious town meeting of 2012, we have decided to take a very more of a low-key, more marketing to try to mend some of those negative feelings that were right or wrong posed against the Economic Development Committee. So that was a very purposeful decision we made. So we had tried, and we were very vocal, and we decided to take a less adversarial
Which I think has worked
role.
well.
Right.
But maybe we can, like, for instance, they used the Clinton Savings Bank specifically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they really were put through the ringer just to move across the street. I was part of it, I understand. But if the EDC in general, could talk to Clinton Savings Bank and in any way advocate for the businesses.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really agree. I think, and I would view the same thing for Frank Patterson, and I think you and I have both reached out to Frank and have said to him on numerous occasions, we are here to help you. And all businesses should know that that there's an advocate in town.
Yeah,
Maybe
I agree.
one way that would be good to show support for Clinton Savings Bank, since they do feel like they were put through the ringer through the planning board process. Maybe when they go to break ground, we can do some sort of like breaking ground ceremony
Yeah.
where we put a shovel in the ground and we all shake hands and say,
So that would be good to keep abreast of that timeline.
Yeah,
because I think
definitely.
that's a great
Because planning
idea.
board has to go to that meeting
yeah,
anyway. It'd be
yeah.
nice to have them there and kind of,
And like,
Show the support.
in general, like, if there was a way that the EDC and talking to businesses could somehow promote a streamlined process. For instance, I know I talked to this with Erica, I mean, they had to go to almost every single board. They have to go to the planning board for the special permit, then they have to go to selectmen for the site plan approval. To me, it's very redundant. I mean, if there was, so selectmen said, well, why don't you just do the special permit? I don't know if we should get into all this here, but maybe I will. So they
It's
said, why?
informative, I think you should.
Yeah, so the selectmen said, why doesn't the planning board just come to this, just do it here? But we get into a lot, the planning board gets into a lot more details. They talk, they meet or at least get a report from the design review board, all the civil engineering aspects of it, whereas I think the selectmen maybe more just get recommendations from the different committees. So like, why do they have to go to the selectmen? Can they just, if they get the recommendations and maybe just, I mean, do they have to be presented? I don't know if
I have a
it's
comment.
a political, if it needs to for open meeting, if they need to meet with them, or if they can, maybe they should come to the planning board for the hearing. I don't know, is so, maybe the
I have a comment.
just one of those things, maybe the EDC can push some type of improvement to that process.
Okay, so I recall back when we started, Jennifer, this was definitely discussed, and I thought there was going to be one committee that had representation from the different boards, that a business could actually go before when the plans were coming down and review that. Is that not, and I don't know what that board was going to be called, and I don't know where that process went, because the thought was, if you have a plan, you basically have to spend, 2 months, going to different boards. So I thought there was, we have to go
And
through the records.
right, no, that's probably, I'm assuming she's probably talking about the design review board. Because the idea is that they take a project and they review it per the design review criteria, which both Board of Selectmen and Planning Board review as part of site plan review and special permit. So the idea is that they go through this advice, because the DRB is an advisor to ZBA, Board of Selectmen, and Planning Board. So they give their report, and then Planning Board and Board of Selectmen can kind of hopefully move through that process quicker, because they've had this sort of specialized group look at the plans. I think that's probably what Jen.
Yeah.
And that design review board was not in existence prior
This is let's put it in perspective. Clinton Savings Bank was the first project to go through design review.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a work in progress. We're working on this.
Yeah, so,
You know?
so actually, that should be the postmortem on this, and I'm sure.
And it is, because
Yeah.
I think I've even mentioned to the planning board that moving forward, and we're gonna talk about this at our meeting this week, is that moving forward, I want all projects to start with design review board.
Exactly.
You know, and then that way, hopefully that'll speed up the process with Board of Selectmen.
Because that was the
And with
theory.
us, and with
Yeah,
planning board.
exactly.
Because that was the theory initially, and that was a Jenny, you know, coming from the town planners. So, you know, I wasn't privy to everything that was going on, so I took the comment with a grain of salt. Pardon to Stan Wysocki, whatever. I'm not insulted by the comment at all, because I think the Economic Development Committee should care about the businesses coming in town. But my point is that I believe that there was already something in existence, and for Clinton Savings Bank to be the first one coming through, that should be, we should applaud that.
Definitely.
Versus saying, so see the positive of it. I mean, unless there were some real serious kinks that need to be worked
Well, I
out.
mean, it's just like, so they came to the plan board, design review board, back to the plan board, ZBA, Board of Health, Selectmen. I mean, it was a lot of work for them.
The part of the
But I think
process
that
that
any
I'm still
business is
trying
gonna
to
be-
understand is historical commission. To me, that's the hardest piece of it, because they have to go through demolition delay, which is 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part where I don't quite understand why it needs to be 6 months.
Well,
So-
they deemed the building historically significant, so they have they put a 6-month hold on the project so that the house, somebody could buy the house, or they could figure out to move the house. You
But I don't know that that needs to be a 6-month process. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
3-month, or, and I might be speaking out of turn
Yeah.
by saying that,
And we
but
don't know if that's is that a historical commission requirement that they have deemed,
Mhm.
and that's in the town books. I
Is it a
don't know.
bylaw? Is it a bylaw? Yeah.
it is our bylaw, and it is 6 months, but they can also, you know, the historical commission can speed up that process if they want, but typically they haven't. They've kept to the 6 months.
I actually, I watched that meeting, and, you know, they all thought the project was good. They thought, they liked the plans from the Clinton Savings Bank. They sort of agreed that, you know, the house was, you know, there wasn't really much you could do with it, but they still voted that it was historically significant and they should wait 6 months.
And they have, I guess they have their prerogative.
They have that right,
Right?
yeah. They have that right.
And a lot of people feel that the longer you wait, you know, I don't know, people change their mind, or the right thing maybe can work out some more kinks.
So we are lucky that Clinton Savings Bank was there and they really wanted it, but
Yeah.
maybe another business would be like, you know what?
Yeah, and you know what,
We
we
don't wanna deal
shouldn't
with
make
this.
it easy,
No, we
easy as
shouldn't.
pie,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
to come in, because you don't want people
Right.
bulldozing.
But I think maybe the EDC can find spots where even just a slight improvement, whether somehow you combine up some hearings or something, and,
We should
you know,
review that,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
And
you
it is a
should.
rigorous.
it's a long-term
Yes.
project.
Particularly for businesses, because most businesses are on pre-existing non-conforming lots on Main Street, so that means they have to go before ZBA too. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's a rigorous process
Maybe we
for
could even have
them.
a section on our website that talks about the process.
Yeah, and I'm more than
And what the
happy to meet
process is,
with
and
anybody
so
to
we
talk about
understand.
it,
Yeah.
to help streamline it for them.
And maybe sometime in the future, maybe we, find a bylaw that we can try to improve and we could put it on the warrant. you know?
Well, it sounds like this particular one was basically directed to us. Maybe the Economic Development Committee should have helped Clinton Savings Bank, but maybe we use this as an opportunity to see if there are issues with our design process or the permit process.
And I think the next project coming down the line that would be great for EDC maybe to get involved with is 626 Main
Yes.
Street.
Yes.
So, that's
Right.
a good one.
And there's definitely, I don't know, I mean, there's other projects coming along that I don't think we're supposed to talk about that, we could probably get involved with also. I'm not sure, I mean, there's other things like I mentioned,
Has it been talked about at planning board?
no,
Has it been talked about at board of selectmen?
no, it's just, they're
Okay.
just in the design phase.
Okay, with anyone in the town?
I was talking about the one,
I'm sorry.
the
I'm like
one,
trying to figure out what you guys are
No,
talking
no,
about.
I just don't know.
I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about, and Michelle Tuck's working on.
Oh, I think that's, yeah, at this point, it's sort of concept level, but I think
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's, I don't think it's a secret. You know, they might be making improvements to the property next to the country covered.
Yeah,
That White House, and they were talking about potentially they would be using the overlay.
Potentially.
yeah,
village
now, do you have a
overlay.
contact there?
No, to the country cover, no.
Okay, so that would be a great thing to pass me their name. I could reach out to them and say, you know, we're here.
Who does it on the country cover?
The Hoods.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, for the,
David
uh,
Hood, yeah.
Yeah.
And they own the house to the left too?
He came in one day, yeah, he's very nice.
I actually know when the doggy daycare left, I sent them to potentially ask about that White House.
Right.
But they had potential plans, maybe this was what was in the
I thought
works.
they were gonna knock that down.
Well, I think
heard
that's-
They were gonna make
that-
parking there, but no.
And they own other properties along Main Street too.
In Bolton?
That would,
The Hoods.
they're not in the village overlay, but
Yeah.
they're obviously in business district.
I mean, it would be great to get a business to use the village overlay.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be great.
I agree.
Okay, so we have, you know, let's, you know, over the next couple weeks, you and I can talk offline, and we can see whether there's any opportunity to work on a piece of the bylaw. You know, and anybody that's wanting to work on this, just contact me and we can form a subcommittee. It doesn't even have to be very formal, to at least talk about areas that we could focus on to really help businesses go through the permitting process of coming into Bolton.
I mean, maybe one of them is you take the demo delay from 6 months to 4 months. I don't know if you know, if that has to be historic. I don't know how the process would work, but
If it's a commercial piece, maybe it could be sped up instead of a, for some other purpose.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
yeah, I don't know exactly how it works, but
I mean, at the same sense, you can understand you don't want, you know, it's very nice that the town of Bolton does have some restrictions,
and I agree, yeah.
you know, but, you know, we have to also be,
And just to
Smart about it.
back up a little bit with Clinton Savings Bank and, you know, going through the hearing process with the planning board, there were some outstanding issues that other groups found very important, maybe Board of Selectmen didn't,
Yeah.
but part of the process is hearing everyone's concerns, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you just have to go through that process,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a slow process. Traffic was a major concern for a lot of people, so we had to spend time on it.
And yeah, the planning board didn't push the traffic, just, it was our own agenda. The mobility group was here and they
Traffic,
were,
public way safety, I mean, they have a legitimate concern, so.
yeah.
And we'll do the best we can.
yeah. I
So-
mean, I think for your position, it would be great to communicate that this was the first business to actually come through
Yeah, and
the
it's a
process.
learning process,
Yeah,
definitely.
the postmortem, you know, report from it, that it's not just, the sky's falling, but maybe there is an opportunity, but it's not all bad either.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So,
Just a question, do they need a permit for this, for pumpkin?
I didn't read that article. I was a joke.
Pumpkin?
so, our new member discussion, Doug?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
You want me to come up?
Yeah, sure. New Schaefer.
Yeah, Doug Newshafer.
That's Neuschaffer?
A-F-E-R.
Yep.
Yep, so, yeah, Doug Newshafer. My wife and I live on Sugar Road. We moved to Bolton in 2007, I think. We have 2 little kids. We didn't go to the parade. My 4-year-old was in tears because we told her the wedding we had to go, so.
It was pretty miserable.
Yeah, and I got sick there 3 years ago when it was miserable, when it snowed that day.
Yeah.
Actually,
I wasn't gonna go through that again.
Karen, who was supposed to be here, she has a cold now and she was organizing it.
Oh, is that right?
So-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
in fact, my voice is still scratchy from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm not involved in a town, I'm, just kind of been a casual observer since we've been here. But I'm interested in you know, improving or continuing to make Bolton the great place to live, you know. We love it here, and we wish that there was more, you know, activity here. My fantasy is that the coffee shop moves into the salt box. I don't know if that's...
Along with everybody else?
Yeah, yeah. So that's, you know, so I called Helene a week or two ago, or she called me back, actually, and I just expressed some interest, and she invited me here for the night, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, we need as much help as we can.
Yeah, well, it's been interesting sitting here and listening, and, you know, I wish...
These are kind of like these are like less official brainstorm kind of meetings, but
Yeah.
as you can see, there's 5 of us, and we talked about like a million topics.
Yeah.
And we can maybe like, I mean, just to get the read thing going is enough work, so the more people, like what the conversation we were just having, you know, if somebody really wants to dig into the bylaws and say, hey, we really think we can improve the process by doing this one thing, you know,
Yeah.
just the more people we can get to do things, the better.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is PR because, you know, we've always said that it's not mutually exclusive. You can have economic development and still maintain a very nice, rural, charming feeling of the town. So
Yeah.
that's been a big push of what we've been trying to communicate. Like, we don't need to bulldoze 117, we don't have to put up Walmart, but you can do it nicely. So I think that continues to be, I think, going to be a major push for the town, for any kind of development. Frank Patterson and 626 is very exciting. To me, that's going to be a linchpin. I mean, I keep saying this, but as soon as we get that going, Frank gets that going, I think people are going to be convinced that we really can do something in the town. And then if we move to the town common, which is a whole different topic, we're just starting to make Bolton pretty again.
Yeah, so kind of what you were just saying. I mean, it's a very stick to yourself. I mean, there is definitely community events, but not as much as there should be. And if there was the town common and 626 and some other, because I think we've done surveys in the past and nobody wants big box stores in town. I mean, people, they just don't want them. They want smaller businesses and the whole local feel of being able to be in town, and whether going to a small pharmacy, doesn't have to be CVS, it could be Hopkinton Pharmacy, you know, or a coffee shop, or, you know, if you don't have to drive 10 miles to go do something, it would be preferable for the whole local aspect of the town.
Well, we're looking for new ideas, you know, we're looking for maybe things that we haven't thought of, looking for people in different professions. You had mentioned contractor.
So I work for Turner Construction, which is a construction management company. I work in Boston. We do, and this might be seen in the town maybe as something different than what it is. That's my job and my career. I'm an engineer by training, and construction management is what we do. We don't, you know, we build luxury high-rise condos and hospitals and universities and things like that. But maybe there's something that I can bring. You know, you had mentioned doing a ribbon cutting or a groundbreaking at the savings bank, and I've been to, you know, more than a few of those. So I think it's a great idea, you know, and it helps to make the community excited about what's happening.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, we hope you will consider being a member. That would be a great thing. I don't know if you want to just, you know, sit on it and then get back to me if you're interested. We meet once a month. We tend to meet the first Monday of the month. We tend to take the summer off.
The whole town does, really.
The whole time, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe the planning board maybe meets.
Yeah, we met.
Board of Selectmen meets, but I think that's...
But I don't think it's realistic to meet in the summer, so.
And you could do with what you wanted, you know, with it. If you want to get super active, you can. If you just want to do some small things, you can.
Yeah.
Some volunteer things, I mean, whatever you want to do, you can do pretty much.
I think the REIT thing is going to be very exciting because I think, first of all, I think people are going to be excited during the holiday season to see a little bit of fun in the town.
Yeah.
You know, when you come through. I think the, what do you call the park, the water park?
The pond park.
Pond park you know, they've done a great job
Yeah, with the
decorating
with the
that
pumpkins.
Halloween or whatever holiday, doesn't even, you know, whatever holiday. And so you just imagine something in the town, I think people get excited about that. So if you can get back to me, that would be great.
I will, yeah, thank you.
Okay, and our last is just updates from Eric and Erica on what's going on in the town.
Well, I think I was mentioning before the meeting had started, was that I am working on that spreadsheet for vacant space in town for businesses. So I'll have that for our next meeting, and hopefully that'll be helpful. I don't know, is this something we're gonna be posting on the website, or?
That's what we had before.
That's
so
what
we
you had
great-
before, okay.
Yeah, so.
And we
I-
can, and we can send that out, too.
Like you said, you've had people come to you, I've had people come to me and just say, like, for instance, one of my friends said, my wife's, she works at a Montessori school, it's a 2-classroom school, they're looking for like 2,000 square feet. Do you have a spot? I'm like, oh, it'd be awesome to have some
Yeah.
chart or updated information, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know, so. So if we had,
Right, that'd be great.
Right. I think last time I did mention some of the projects that are coming before the town. I'm just gonna say them again, because I know I can't remember which ones
Okay.
I hit up on. Bolton Office Park Assisted Living Facility is going through the planning board process right now. Bolton Manor, which is a 40B project off of Sugar Road, is in front of ZBA to modify their comprehensive permit. So hopefully they'll go to construction within the next year.
How many
What's that
units?
That's 30 units, Bolton Manor. The other half of the gravel pit where the solar field farm is, they're gonna be developing the other half now into a solar field. I don't know
Into,
if I mentioned that last time.
Bolton
Bolton
Orchards.
Orchards.
Okay.
Right. So that, they went through the ZBA process to get a variance a couple of weeks ago, and now eventually they're gonna be making an application.
So
for
putting
planning
more
board.
solar.
More solar.
So that's been successful for them then?
That's been very successful.
So
yeah.
they do not sell any of the electricity back to the town?
But they will go through that negotiation again with the town to see if the price works out.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
we'll see.
I think, what are we getting, like 87,000 a year or 100,000? I think there was some number around there that, was worked out.
I don't recall.
But that project, assisted living, I mean, this is great projects, even though they're not businesses, they're awesome projects for the town tax base. I mean, because anything that can take taxes away from residential is a huge benefit for,
Now, and they
House
were,
sales.
were they getting a tax break, or they were actually giving something back to the town? I forgot the
Which one?
deal with the solar.
There may be some type of state subsidy program type of thing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure that
Yeah.
I don't know whether that one really affected the tax base, I'm not sure.
well, no, what I'm saying is if it wasn't there, we wouldn't be getting that money per year. It's money that goes into the budget that doesn't have to be covered by the residents.
I don't know, though. I don't know if they get are they exempt?
Tax break.
No, they're
I
paying.
think they pay tax, I
Yeah,
don't
they pay
know
taxes, just
how it
like
works.
real estate taxes.
Yeah, but
I had this conversation with the
Yeah.
assessor's
Yeah.
department too, and I just don't
No.
remember.
Well, what I remember is if the actual land that they used was assessed for it, I think it was gonna be like a few $100,000, whereas we worked out a 20-year deal where they're paying maybe like 100 or 90. They're paying less than what they would be paying, because it was like kind of like a deal they struck, a negotiation,
yeah, so they're paying less to the town,
less.
right?
But you're still paying.
but they're
by
still
using other
paying.
Services.
Yeah. They're still paying money to the town.
Right, but they're already paying money to the town. They have land, and they already, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know this for sure, but aren't they already
Well, I
paying
think
money?
you pay for the infrastructure too, I mean.
Okay,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I mean, if it's just a piece of land, I think it's a lot less than if you're, I don't know what all appraisals do, but it's definitely a benefit for
Okay,
a
that's
bonus,
great.
in
And you know
addition
what,
to
we
that.
got criticized at one point that we were not supporting the solar piece of it. We would love to support the solar farm. We just didn't know about the solar farm. So I think we
I
have
will keep you posted.
alternative energy is great. Glad to see it in Bolton. And I know they're always very excited down at Bolton Orchards. They had a ribbon cutting also, but they did it themselves.
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Then the 40B that's going over
Yep.
here, you said 30 homes?
Yep.
And then how many more over in Century Mill? we're gonna get
That's
this year?
a 78 lot subdivision, but that's
So that's
gonna
like
be over.
100, still, 120 homes, families, and not one new business
Mm.
to support those people. Like, that to me is a real problem.
Okay, so I have
Yeah.
a challenge to the planning board. So this is my challenge to the planning board. Planning board should be planning to get business in. Besides just putting in the village overlay, what is the planning board's vision? We need to have a vision for the town as to what the planning board sees as business in the
Well,
town.
I think the vision was the overlay. It's a way to, you know, a way to give, the whole thing was, you know, give you a little bit more land, and, you know, these are the type of businesses, you know, we want, smaller businesses, you know, multiple buildings per
Yeah?
division, I mean, so.
Be great for the planning board to come out with a vision, besides just saying overlay. The overlay gives you the ability to do it, but what's the plan? We went back, remember we had the official plan that was done from UMass, and people sort of have put that away, it's been buried. But it would be great to come out, the planning board should have more of a vision, we should be more proactive. It's great to take the village overlay, believe me, I'm applauding that, because it really, it started from Jenny, and so I'm supportive, but you need a plan, we need some
Have
sort
any
of vision.
developers expressed interest in developing any of that for business, or?
Well, we have had interest in 550 Main Street, which is the property next to the veterinary clinic.
Okay.
They're looking at the gas station. So that's one business that's looking to come in. And if they did come in, they would do it right. I mean, I had very long conversations with that developer, and he actually did the gas station in Berlin that went in.
Yeah.
So they're looking to do something that would fit into the town.
What about the other gas stations? We already have a gas station, so we'd have 2 gas stations?
Right, this gas
Okay.
station would have more of like a convenience store type,
Okay.
I think it would be, people would be more apt to go to this gas station. Well, I don't want to say
Yeah.
that, but
I know what you're saying,
it'd have
yeah.
like a friendlier feel
Yeah,
to it, I
like a
think.
Cumbies or something.
Yeah,
Like the one in Berlin, I mean.
Yeah,
there's
isn't
a-
that a Cumbies?
Is that something that we should reach out as the Economic Development
Company.
Committee?
we could.
Yeah.
Where
Or
Ecuador
Ecuador.
Hockey used to be.
So I view
There's a-
that,
there's a
I feel
Dunkin'
if
Donuts
we get
Is
any
it Dunkin'?
potential business, excuse me,
Oh, sorry.
if we get any potential business that's coming to town that really looks like we should really welcome them to town, we should reach out to them. I should reach out to them, or any committee,
Sure.
any person on
I
the,
can certainly
yeah.
pass along
That
their
would be
contact
great.
information. It's
Because
never
they-
been.
Yeah, we heard you're
We
interested,
heard you're interested.
I'll bring the Canadians in, I said.
we heard you're interested, we feel like, this project would be great. Well, and so like she's saying, I don't know if you've seen that gas station, but it's kind of like a
No, I haven't.
soapbox-ish,
Yeah, it's
soapbox.
like a
I go there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so that, they want to fit into a rural community. They don't want to put up the big golf canopy,
Yeah,
thing.
they were like talking about putting in like a bike station so that you can go and put air in your bike tires and.
What
like,
if we
make it
propose
real.
something cool, like something for like electronic cars or something that's
Yeah,
different?
I
than
mean, I think
Tesla,
it would be
a Tesla site.
Yeah, or like even like electric cars, like an electric site,
Yeah.
or whatever.
So
I don't know.
where does that one stand? So that was just somebody.
That was just very
poking-
preliminary talk, someone coming in to understand our bylaws, understand the process, and
They should get a call from someone in the Economic Development Committee. I'm thinking that they showed interest, we should immediately follow up saying, heard you showed some interest in the town, would love to come talk to you, can we help you?
Well, I mean, that reminds me, I was bringing this up, but Chris would Paragon have happened without Chris?
No?
I don't know, I mean, he helped drive it.
And actually, I just,
I saw him today, I begged him to come back on, but he said no.
its name. So, I mean, one of the things that, and so Chris added the personal discussion with them, so I would love to
I think
do
it's a great
that.
idea. The other development, well, it's not a development, but the Skinner property, I recently talked to the realtor for that property, and I had mentioned that, we have an EDC, board, and they would be more than happy to support you in any way that you need, and so he was so excited when I told him
Which is the
that.
realtor now?
His name's Rick Potrush.
Yeah, so we've already talked to, so Rick does know us,
Okay, because
Yeah.
I actually gave him your email
Yeah.
address, because he was like, oh, yeah, I would love to reach out to Helene and see what kind of partnership we could
Right.
have. So I don't know if he's done that yet.
Yeah, so we actually already, he and I already talked,
Okay.
well, originally for the salt box, when the salt box was first coming up. But the issue that I am finding with the Skinner property is that if the owner is not encouraged to sell, that's hard, because
Okay.
we spent a lot of time speaking with Mrs. Skinner, and we brought other realtors before her and just encouraged her and told her that we would certainly help, but the owner has to be willing.
Okay, because he
So-
made it sound like she would be at this point, but
Mhm.
I don't, maybe it's worth just having one more conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
There's been some interest in that property. It kind of fell through.
Yeah, I mean,
with the medical marijuana.
No,
Well,
no.
solar. I had a gentleman who owned a company that did solar, and he was very interested, so I passed his information along to the realtor as
And
well.
there was a cottage, an
think it was-
assisted living
I
cottage.
got a call from, actually not caught, it was just for 40B,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know where that went, because they were looking to do something more substantial.
Yeah.
so I don't know if
So
they're-
I think that if a business comes to you and shows interest, I think that we should follow up with
Okay.
economic development.
Become like the sales, not sales department, but
Well,
push Bolton.
well, here's another avenue for you to have a connection with Bolton.
Yeah. And when we could, just say how, business to get involved, just try to just sell Bolton to them.
Yeah.
I think it's a great.
I mean, just so that one, maybe they were just calling, oh, yeah, click, and then they just push Bolton aside, but maybe if somebody starts
2
to
days
call
later,
back,
Helene calls back and
with
says,
a call, maybe they would be more interested in,
we would love to have you, this is how
Yeah.
he would fit, these are the things we can give for you.
yeah.
We will-
And even set up see whether they want to come, I don't know, talk to Don, talk to the three of us.
Well, yeah, I mean, the developer from Irving, he was like, I would love to even have just like an informal town meeting where people could come and just ask me questions, like,
Yeah.
we're very much, we would really like to work with the town, and so,
You could so set that up, I mean,
Yeah.
right? I
What
mean,
do they see of the benefit of being here? Because it's such a high traffic road.
I think it's
Yeah.
such a high traffic road and
I
really
mean,
Right
not
on.
that
it
many.
really is a high
Right on
traffic
the
road.
highway.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable
Is this
how
for the
much-
solar?
No, this
No,
is
this
the
is
gas
the gas
station.
station.
Oh, the gas station, oh, yeah.
Right on the highway there.
Where they would put that in, would that be a little bit off the road, a little bit?
Well, 550,
Back a
I
little
mean,
bit?
that property abuts like the ramp onto 495
Okay.
going south,
yep.
so it's gonna be a tricky site just because it's small, it's a pre-existing non-conforming site.
But it's worth discussing,
Yep, definitely.
But I was thinking as the overlay gets built over there, that the road will improve, because right now it's not really improved for anything, it's kind of like trying to fix it up, but once we have a real problem there,
Yeah.
they won't have a choice but to really deal with the problems that are
That's the
there.
thing, we need a project that's big enough to
Yeah.
trigger some improvement to 117. Right now, we have all these small projects coming before us that don't really impact, numbers all that much.
So where, the Kane property, because that to me is would be the real, when you talk about a big development,
Mhm.
or some, not big development, I'm not suggesting Walmart.
You're saying Walmart, right?
I did not say Walmart, and I didn't say any kind of big store, but
Wegmans.
Whole Foods.
Hockey rink?
Has there been any news on that?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything
quiet, yeah.
about the Kane property.
You would probably know more, no?
So maybe that's what we should reach out to again.
Okay,
Just because we haven't heard from
that
them,
might be a really good idea.
yeah, it doesn't mean that they are not interested, and just knocking at their door again would bring some interest back
You
up.
should, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be definitely interested in
Mhm.
talking to someone. So,
Okay. Eric, do you have any updates from the planning board?
No, I think she covered it all.
Yeah?
The only thing I think that we should probably start thinking about is another business meeting in April, like April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should probably maybe get
I
the
thought we said in January.
Huh?
I thought we said February, the last meeting.
Well, whatever, I don't know. If we're already in November and holidays coming up, so we probably won't have time to plan for February,
We'll
but,
not have time to plan for that.
yeah. But at the same time frame, maybe we could do it the International this time,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
something like
that'd
that, yeah.
Could definitely work that.
I mean, if we could do one a year for right now, I mean, the
Mhm.
first one was great.
Yeah.
so-
So it'd be great to have some sort of topic that we, you know, it just, we
Yeah,
got so lucky last time that we had the town meeting.
Yeah.
But there will be a town meeting again. So maybe that
We
is,
just keep our ears open and see what's
yeah,
going
maybe
on.
that is always a good time
That would
to
be
have it,
a
because it's
great
always
time,
right
yeah.
before town meeting.
Yeah.
Because I think the businesses liked hearing what was going to be
Mhm.
on the docket. you
And
know.
also what his timeline is too at 6/26, that might
Yeah,
be
he
April.
Maybe we can do it there.
mentioned, it's a great idea.
Mhm.
He
That would be
mentioned,
awesome.
Yeah.
I can reach out to him on that one, because he had mentioned he's hoping,
Yeah.
maybe if things go well, maybe for some sort of springtime
Yeah.
leasing.
And then I wonder if does he want us to add the leasing onto the website too? as
I
a-
think he knows that we are available. I don't think that they're at the point now.
Okay.
Well, actually, then the other thing that he had said is that he has had over 70 requests for.
Without even
people.
advertising for it.
So I don't think he's even gonna need to advertise.
I think there's a lot of people in town too that work regular jobs and that are looking at starting businesses
Mm-hmm.
too. I think there's some people that
Mm-hmm.
maybe would be interested in leaving their regular jobs and opening
But,
something in there.
but like the financial, Bolton Business, what is,
Global Capital,
whatever the name is, Bolton,
Bolton Global
Bolton
Capital.
Global Capital.
I believe that's a phrase, Ray Grenier. Yeah.
We went, which was an amazing to get the tour of
Yeah.
what they did with the building.
That's a really good
Do you know
It's
what
almost-
that is? Delta,
it's
do you remember Delta Equity, the big white house?
Yeah, right down there.
Yeah, we had an EDC event last April 30th, and we invited businesses to come, and it was great because it was right before a town meeting, so we were able to talk about the village overlay, which really is very applicable to businesses.
But also to show how you could take an existing building or something in Bolton and have a business that fits in the community,
Yeah.
which, I mean, so they have, so the same thing with Southbox. I mean,
That looks really great.
I know it's looking awesome
He's
so
doing
far.
a great job there.
So, I mean, it would be great, if we could have it there and look at his renovations and same thing,
That's actually
how
a
you
really
fit.
good idea.
Yeah,
Bolton Global Capital is Ray Grenier's.
Bolton Global. I have the same problem with Bolton Access Television. I always call it Batco accidentally.
It's not Batco.
Bolton Access Television.
Okay, so do we have any other topics? This is a good meeting, because I think going forward, we really have to be the champion and the welcome committee to some of these businesses out there that are looking to come into town, or even if they show any kind of interest, we need to follow that up with a call from me, and a follow up with the email, and try to get them back in to talk to Don, yourself, me, and whoever. Even if they want to have an open meeting, that would be great.
So, but with all the community outreach, business to community outreach, and now we're talking about this, we have open spots.
We have open spots.
Yeah.
on-
We need a
on-
realtor.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to follow
Realtor.
up with the realtor.
We're still officially 9, and so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
maybe 7 if you're interested. So there's 2 open spots still. We were talking about potentially reducing, but we want to hold off because we have so many things we want to do.
Yeah,
That the more the merrier.
yeah. I mean, I think if you
Sounds
can
great.
generate, so if you can get a quote for how much it is to do the Facebook advertising and how much it is to do the brochure. I mean, the brochure, I also just want to make sure we don't waste the brochure, because we want to be very specific on who we hand it out to. It'd be great to hand it out to a potential business wanting to come in. So we get those 2 quotes on doing a brochure and how much is the Facebook marketing. And then
That's
we
what
need
the
to-
like ad looks like. So that's my like ad for my company. So it would go to
That
people who
would
are
pop on people's,
connected.
yeah.
So it kind of increases
So
the,
somebody in Clinton would say, hey, you're close to,
or they say, oh, Eric likes this. It's
Yeah.
usually for your friends that
Oh,
it
yeah.
gets kind of
Yeah.
it's all connected, so.
And even if we would send something out that says, we have space, we have, 40% vacancy or whatever the number is now, you have to actually be careful with that number, right? Because to become an ETA, economic target area, we had to have more than X amount of open space, vacant space. I don't know if that number goes down, whether we lose that ETA.
What is that called? I don't never even heard
The
of that.
whole reason why she did that spreadsheet was to see whether we qualified to become an ETA, which I believe is an economic target area. And by doing that, we were able to get, we haven't really done this yet, but you can work with businesses on tax breaks.
A TIF, they call it.
The TIF, right? And I don't even know what that
We
means.
need to get really much better at understanding this side of things, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
In general.
Erica, that's going to be a test for you.
Yes. I'll look into it.
Economic target area.
Economic target area, but
ETA.
but what's the TIF?
Okay.
It's some
Taxes in lieu of something, isn't it?
You know more than us now.
But you had to prove, but you had to be.
We should know,
But you
though.
had to be expanding the business.
Okay.
And I think that's what happened with Paragon, and when they came in, I think the Attorney General had stated that they really didn't qualify for it, so they weren't able to actually get the tax break that they were promised.
Okay.
But that was a very happy moment.
So yeah, we should be on, we should
It's
be
okay,
on,
because it was a good deal.
we should be on top of all that and
So what if we all
understand.
had a copy of the bylaws?
They're all online, right?
Yeah.
Are they updated online? Yeah.
Yeah, they were just updated from last town meeting.
Well, I
That'd be
think, you know, Erica, if you look at it and you can, spend some time on it over the next few weeks and think about, we'll take your advice, then we'll look it over.
Sure.
But we'll have you point out to us which area you think we should look at and then go from there as to what we can improve.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
All right, so now that we have a million things that we want to do.
great.
So, as far as the wreath project, are we setting a date yet for when we're gonna be meeting and putting the wreaths up? Since we're not gonna be meeting until,
Okay, so, we wanted to do it for the first week of December. And what did I say that date was?
so the first is on a Monday, if that's the right
So you want to
calendar?
do it the 30th or whatever?
It's a
30th
Sunday.
or the,
Okay, so, month. Okay, that's right, so, the 30th, which is Sunday, is that what you just said? So actually, that's Thanksgiving Sunday.
Is it?
Weekend, yes. Right.
I mean, people free that weekend.
I know, so the Patriots play at Green Bay, so it's not a home Patriots game.
We have to work around Helene's Patriot schedule.
I'm not going to, I wasn't invited to this game.
What time's the game?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? It won't be in the morning. The Green Bay Packer game will not be in the morning. I don't know, we can meet at 12 or something?
No, we better probably do it early.
Will that be an issue for anyone? I know I won't be here that day.
Okay.
I won't be able to do it early.
I'll get my
Because
kids
it's
to help
holiday
too.
weekend.
How about,
Send out a doodle poll or whatever.
how about Monday morning? It's hard for people who work.
Yeah, I don't think it's good.
Well, the reason that Sunday would be good is there'd be less traffic on the road. And if we did it earlier in the morning, there would be even less traffic.
Well, we know you and I are gonna be here, and you'll be here.
Yeah, I could probably do Sunday morning.
Yeah,
My boys will help, so that's 2 more people.
okay. My son will help.
I mean, I'm available before 9, but
It's a little too
depends
early.
what early is to you guys.
It's a little early.
7 we could start.
I don't think I wanna do
Well,
something.
somebody's gonna have to get up early and drop them off. Who has a truck?
I probably could be back for Sunday morning.
Somebody's gonna have to drop them off.
Don't change your holiday. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
that's gonna be, so the other option would be to do it
Following
the,
weekend.
well, or to do a weekend before, or do it the 23rd.
Honestly, they won't last that long.
Yeah,
They're not gonna last that
No,
long?
I mean, we're better off doing them the week after.
So the 6th or 7th?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna deteriorate?
But the only problem with that is it's gonna be freezing, we're gonna freeze when we put them up, and
Yeah.
that was an issue.
well, the Patriots play at San Diego on that Sunday, and boy, I would love to. be at
So
that
the
game.
30th is good because it won't be as cold as the next
Right,
week.
Well,
right.
you can't bet on that now.
This is true, but I put them up in like really cold weather and
It's not fun, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with waiting till the 7th, to put them up. I just that, holiday decorations,
it
you
would
would
be
get
better
early.
before snow if we could get them earlier.
Yeah. Well, let's, tentatively plan for the 30th.
Yeah. I know I will be here,
I'll be around.
yeah.
Mhm.
And we'll just, it will be fun, right, Bruce?
It'll be fun.
It's all good.
hot toddies after.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay, so I think we can call, adjourn this meeting. So I think it was a really good meeting. I think the Economic Development Committee can be a real good force about trying to attract business. And this is a way, you know, once we get those leads, to really follow up with them. Okay, thank you.
You get that close and...
Excuse me?